Hello, my name is Nyson,
My name is Michael.
and today we're just demonstrating our robotic automation technology with our program called Block Inspection. And here we have the Pegasus 5-point axis robotics arm. If you come over here, we got our feeder and our inspection point, plus the conveyor belt, which deliver the blocks to our two bins here that catches the block. Michael here will show you a basic run of our robotic arms.
Here I have the operation station. I will use this as the controls for the robotic arm. There are two main things we'll be using: the push button and the selector switch. For the basic run, I'll be using the push button. Holding it down, we'll start our program. Beginning of our program, we'll grab a single block from our block feeder. The arm will then move it over to our inspection point. Our inspection point is used to determine where the block is supposed to go. After it's checked, the robotic arm will bring the block over to the conveyor belt. In this example, after the block is on the conveyor belt, it will be sent to the blue bin on the left. Once the block is in the blue bin, the robotic arm will return to its home position. For the next part, Nyson will demonstrate the flowchart and its relationship to the program.
As he's step testing, if I were to push button 1, it will start the feeder subroutine. While that happens, the arm will move from home point to the feeder, which will grab a block, then move back. Then it will start the inspection subroutine. Then that will move the block to the inspection point. After that, it will drop it, wait for 2 seconds, then detects if there's a hole or not. Then the arm will move close, grabs it, then move back out, then go hover over the conveyor belt, then drops it on the conveyor belt. Then, since it has a hole, it will move to the right bin. Then, from that position, it will go back to the home position. Now, Michael here will tell you how the automation works.
Back to our operation station. We have already used the push button. Now we'll be moving to the selector switch. Switching the selector switch to the right position will begin our program again. Like the previous two demonstrations, the robotic arm will pick up a block from the feeder. And then the arm will move the block to our inspection point. The inspection point is a limit switch, which detects whether there's a hole or not. In this case, it is a red block which has a hole in it. Because it has a hole in it, the block will be sent to the right into our red bin. Next, the robotic arm will return to its home position. But because the selector switch is in the right position, it will automatically start to grab the next block. This requires no input from the user. Like the previous demonstrations, after the block is in the inspection point, it will move to the conveyor belt. In this case, because it is a blue block with no hole in it, it is sent to the blue bin. The robotic arm will then return to its home position. It is still set in auto mode, but since there is no blocks in the feeder, it cannot continue and will just pause and wait until more blocks are inserted. For the next part, Nyson will be showing us the code.
So, this is our block inspection program that is being used by our robotic arm. Here we have our three main inputs, line 3, 6, and 13. Here we have our two subroutines, the feeder and inspection subroutine. If we go back up to the top and hit run, it will start from line 1 and stop at line 3. The reason is, line 3 is responsible for checking there's blocks in the feeder, and since it doesn't, it will stop there and wait. So let's go ahead and put our block in. And there we go, it will continue. Line 6 is our second input. It will detect if the selector switch is on or not. Since it's not, it will then continue to line 13. Line 13 detects if the push button 1 is on. It would then, and if it's not, it would then continue and going back to the line 1. So let's go ahead and stop it right now. And let's go to line 6. Let's say this input detects an on. If it does, it would then call the feeder subroutine down here. This section is responsible for the arm taking the block out of the feeder. Then it will return then call the inspection subroutine down here. The inspection subroutine will then take the block and then move it to the inspection point, which will drop it. Then inspection point, which is these two sections, will then detect if there's a hole or not. Let's say it does have a hole. This section will make the arm grab the block, which then will put it on the conveyor belt and move to the right, which to be put into the red bin. If it does have a hole though, we'll go to this section. This section will make the arm grab the block and move it to the left side into the blue bin. So that concludes our demonstration of our Pegasus 5-point axis robotic arm.